Hey, to whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worry. I get it, the odds seem stacked back against the wall, but even consider it such, know you'll stand tall. Sat and watch from the sidelines one too many times. Wicked games we play make me wanna lose my mind. Found solitude knowing it'll be over soon. Ever need a boost, count on me for the 1-2.
Welcome to the Suplex Sports Podcast. Your boy Mish back in it, full effect with the Weekend Roundup. Big week in the NFL. MLB is pretty much already shaken out in terms of playoffs. WNBA has already started their playoffs as well. And got a few other pieces of news to bring to you live and in full effect like your boy Mish does. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. Week 3 of the NFL has wrapped up. Well, as we're recording this, there's still 2 Monday night games to be played. We'll get into it in their current scores. But we'll start off with the rest of the league and how things are pretty much shaped out. Those Pittsburgh Steelers under Mr. Justin Fields are 3-0. Went ahead, they took care of the Chargers by the score of 20-10 on Sunday. I can't say nothing negative at all. I mean, right now, Pittsburgh looks kind of balanced in some ways. Running, passing, I mean, a lot could be corrected and worked on. Right now, as it stands, Justin Fields is the de facto number 1 starting quarterback, as Russell Wilson has yet to take the field as of yet. Don't know when that's exactly happening. Bunch of rumblings going on with Russie as well. In terms of the vacancy right now in Miami for the time being. Don't know how long that's supposed to last, but I'm sure that situation will be revisited as well. But yeah, Pittsburgh, they're currently 3-0, starting off hot. We already know Mike Tomlin and his guys last straight, 8 years straight making the playoffs. Last year, they started off hot, went on a downside, barely made the playoffs, but nonetheless, they got there. I mean, Mike Tomlin, he's that dude, man. Kudos to Mike Tomlin. Surprising victory of the weekend, the Denver Broncos, they went ahead and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by the score of 26-7. Didn't see that happening at all. For those who picked Tampa Bay in Tampa to go ahead and take care of business, I know you guys are disappointed. It happens. It honestly happens. Bo Nix played a solid game, I would say. Ran in for a touchdown, had over 200 yards passing. Also, running backs got involved as well. Really surprising victory for Denver, and hopefully they can go ahead and build on something from there. Definitely. Green Bay Packers under Malik Willis went ahead into Tennessee and beat down the Titans 30-14. Call a spade a spade. Tennessee's got issues with quarterback. They definitely do. Didn't know going into the season if things with Will Levis was going to be fixed, considering getting a big money receiver in Calvin Ridley. Him and Ridley, they're all right. I mean, the rest of the team's got to get involved. They got a lot of talent, and they have yet to put it all together for Tennessee. We'll see what happens in the next coming weeks or so. See if they can get themselves back on the right track. I'm optimistic on that. But for the time being, shout out to Malik Willis. You know what I'm saying? Came in about a couple weeks ago. Jordan Love goes down. He comes in. Now he's won 2 straight games with Love out. So essentially he's doing what he's supposed to do, hold down the fort, protect the ball for Green Bay. Green Bay's looking all right now. Moving on. Another upset. The New York Giants beat the Cleveland Browns by the score of 21-15. I didn't see the Giants winning this game at all, honestly, man. I actually picked Cleveland to win, but what could I say? Things are opening up and breaking out. Daniel Jones, he's got two good receivers in Wendell Robinson and Mr. Malik Neighbors. Neighbors went ahead. He balled out. He showed out. Wendell Robinson had a good game as well. Devin Singletary on the ground had a decent game. I don't know. Optimistic on the Giants. Daniel Jones, he ain't what they say he is. I think if you give him the appropriate time to cook, he could do some things. But I think right now this is something to build on for New York, the Giants respectively in that regard. Neighbors and Robinson, they're doing their thing right now. As long as Daniel Jones limits his mistakes and able to feed them the rock appropriately, I see things only going up for them in the future, or should I say this season. The Philadelphia Eagles surprisingly came away with a victory against the Saints by the score of 15-12. Defensive battle for most of all four quarters. I didn't expect Philly to take it, honestly. I thought New Orleans, with Derek Carr having that momentum, currently, with 2-0 coming into the game, they had their chances to go ahead and take it, and they essentially just couldn't do it. But going forward, I mean, New Orleans, they got themselves a squad. They do. And provided it's how long Derek Carr, how far he takes them essentially. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, right now things look good. Despite the loss, things look good. We'll see how things progress. Very interesting to note that Rashid Shaheed had nothing going. Nothing going at all. So, kudos to Philadelphia's defense for shutting down Shaheed. And on the flip side of that, I mean, Carr's got to, find ways to get him to rock as well. Don't get me wrong, you got Olave as well, Kamara, but, Rashid Shaheed, he's explosive. Expect big things down the line during the rest of the season for him. The most surprising victory to me was the Houston Texans losing to the Minnesota Vikings 34-7. Minnesota Vikings are 3-0 under Sam Darnold. Who would have thought? Not me. As you all know, I've been talking trash about the Vikings since the season started. So I think now I'm going to take the foot off the gas, ease up a bit, and just see what happens. As of right now, I said that they'd only get 7 wins this year. They got 3. So, they get another 4, my mouth is shut the rest of the way. That's all I know. I know somebody out there is licking their chops right now. He's slowly becoming Lord Voldemort around here, but we ain't gonna say nothing. Jay Jones. Indianapolis Colts beat the Chicago Bears 21-16. It looks as though Roman Dunze and Caleb Williams, they got a good chemistry going. Chicago had opportunities to win that game. They probably should have won that game. Anthony Richardson did not have a great game at all. Essentially, Jonathan Taylor did what he had to do on the ground to get things going in that regard. We'll see what happens next week. I'd like to see more Josh Downs. I'd like to see more Alec Pierce. Michael Pittman get involved in the offense as well. It's a little baffling how Pittman, he's not where he potentially should be even though it's this early in the season. And I'm not just talking about, NFL stats point of view or win games, losses point of view. I'm talking about where it matters most to me. Even though I don't even have them on my team. I'm talking about fantasy, baby. So, with that said, it is what it is so far. Hopefully things turn around for him as the season goes along. But when I play him, I wish him nothing but lack of targets, so to speak. All right. The Seattle Seahawks, they went ahead and plunked the Dolphins 24-3. I think it was no secret with Skylar Thompson coming in as quarterback. Miami had a bullseye on their back, and Seattle went ahead and capitalized. Big 77-yard play by Geno Smith to DK Metcalf for a touchdown. It seemed as though Geno, he went off, pretty much second quarter, and then, I'm not going to say took his foot off the brake, but they played a safe, sound game to get up out of there. Is the best way they could in that regard. Miami's going to go through some growing pains now without Tua. It's evident now. The cheetah is not going to eat the way the cheetah typically eats. Waddell is not going to eat how he typically eats as well. Your ground game is going to do what they do, but until Tua comes back, or they go ahead and make a move and get a quarterback if necessary, then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens from there. The Carolina Panthers got a W, y'all. Carolina Panthers beat the Las Vegas Raiders 36-22. Nobody seen that coming. And I know when we talk about football, we talk about any given Sunday, but I did not see that happening this Sunday at all. Not one bit. And Andy Dalton, he came in through 3 touchdown passes. Deontay Johnson looked like a true number 1 receiver again with Andy Dalton. Rumors and buzz about, potential Bryce Young trade. I don't know. I think it's probably just let the young buck just sit behind the vet, learn a thing or two. Might have been a mistake throwing the young man into the fire so early, but nonetheless, NFL is essentially baptism by fire, regardless when you step out on the field. So, in that regard, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to say things could only go up from there, but, it was a good game for Chuba Hubbard as well. Adam Thielen, very encouraging with Carolina this earlier season, as they're now 1-2, have the potential to break even next week. All right. Detroit Lions, they beat the Arizona Cardinals 20-13. Not a good game for Jared Goff. Not the best game, but a manageable game. Amon-Ra St. Brown went ahead and did his thing, as he's been quiet the first 2 weeks of the season. Didn't really get much of Jamison Williams. Sam Laporta left the game with a potential injury as well. Something to monitor going forward into next week, week 4, with Sam Laporta. I think that ultimately Detroit was lucky to walk away with the W in Arizona. Arizona currently has Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., along with my man James Conner. They're gonna go through some growing pains, but they're gonna win some games and win some games big as well. I think they're still getting acclimated, and once they put it all together, they're gonna be good. And of course, we're waiting for that Greg Dort season as well. Another upset of the afternoon: the LA Rams beat the San Francisco 49ers 27-24. Matt Stafford essentially played a damn good game. In terms of Brock Purdy, I believe he has a back injury. I believe he's day to day. But Juwan Jennings, wide receiver, three touchdown passes, 3 touchdowns for San Fran, and still couldn't essentially get the job done against the Rams. As Kyron Williams, he scored a couple of touchdowns as well, and they held on to the victory. All right. Surprise, surprise. Baltimore Ravens went down to A&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, and took care of those Cowboys 25-28. Let's not get it twisted. Baltimore, they got up to a commanding lead, and Dallas started to make a late rally, and they just couldn't finish it off in the end. And that's okay. I think Dallas they'll continue to go through their growing pains as well. They're 1-2 right now. I mean, long season ago, they're 1-2. We'll see what Jerry does in terms of making some personnel changes and moves. I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna. I'm not wishing bad on the Cowboys. I really am not. Maybe a little bit, but I need to see these dudes get back to a championship game or something, man. And I just don't know if this is going to be this season in which they can do it under McCarthy. I want to say the running game is a big factor. Don't get me wrong. Rico Dowdle had a pretty good game yesterday. Decent on the ground. But their lack of a run game, I think, is essentially going to hurt them in the long run, and which is going to force Dak to find other ways to win. Seen some frustration with CeeDee Lamb as he wasn't getting the rock the way he wanted to get the rock, and of course, him being the number one receiver, him being doubled all the time, things will always be difficult for CD, but pretty sure CD has a legitimate gripe in that fact, but he wants to eat. Feed me more. Right back. All right. The Kansas City Chiefs escaped with the victory 22-17 from the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons had a chance to get a potential first down to extend the game a little bit there, and couldn't come clean with Bijan Robinson. I believe it was a 3rd and 1. We all know that, Kirk Cousins is not the sneak type quarterback. I thought they probably could have drew up a better play or some special kind of play to get at least 5 yards out of that. It was a good game. Ultimately good game. Nothing negative to take away. The Falcons are I think the Falcons might be there in the NFC. I think they will be. I think ultimately their defense is speaking for itself with the addition of Matt Judon, and Kirk Cousins is he stepped up and he's getting those guys together on the offense as well. They're gonna go through their growing pains 3 games into the season, but to almost take down the champs, that is pretty good. All right, Thursday night game. The Jets just walked all over the Patriots 24-3. It was a crime scene. There was nothing to really see. All right, so as I already spoke about earlier, as this is currently being recorded, there are 2 Monday night games being currently played. Currently, the Washington Commanders are leading the Cincinnati Bengals 14-10. And the Buffalo Bills have pretty much put a whole coat of baby oil all over the Jaguars. No diddy. 34-3. And it's only halftime. So that's done. That's done. Bills are still undefeated. Jags fall. I've already essentially called it early. So yeah, the Jaguars will be 0-3 and the Bills will be 3-0. With the score 34-3 in Buffalo at halftime, that's pretty much a done deal. Josh Allen he's doing Josh Allen things, essentially. All right. That pretty much wraps it up for the football aspect of the weekend in terms of scores. We'll go ahead and take a look at some news. During that Las Vegas game with the loss to the Panthers, there's been a lot of speculation about Davante Adams and him wanting to stay in Vegas, playing with Gardner Minshew. The whole situation out there, it's I guess it hasn't boded well for him. I think there's been some rumors about him getting traded as well. But one thing is for certain, head coach Antonio Pierce wasn't happy after the loss. And he stated after the loss, and I quote, "As the game went on, there were some individuals that made business decisions, so we'll make business decisions going forward." Now, we can assume he was talking about Davante or other members of the team, but it doesn't seem as though that Davante Adams and Gardner Minshew is currently on the same page, as there were a few broken plays that have evolved through the game between both guys. And excuse me, I do have a bit of a cold. So, I mean, with the rumors, swirling about Davante, will he or will he not get traded? Yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time, but where will he get traded? The main beneficiary who probably ate this weekend was Jacoby Myers in that regard, but it seemed as though he was eating in garbage time at that, so I don't know. We'll monitor the situation and see if there's anything that develops, of course. Of course, we'll come out and report it to you live. Riyadh season card, Wembley edition. Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois. It was a 5-round mauling by Daniel Dubois to Anthony Joshua. Simple as that. It was a 5-round mauling. Daniel Dubois came in locked, loaded, and ready to go, and he was giving Joshua all that work, all that jaw work, man. Anthony Joshua went down about 4 times within 5 rounds, and the final blow, the TKO blow, was essentially a short right hand that straight dropped him. Couldn't even get up. And to be honest, it looked like Anthony Joshua was saved by the bell, maybe once or twice during that match, during that bout. But Daniel Dubois, yeah, he got the job done. He got the job done. Only took him 5 rounds. I mean, I don't think Anthony Joshua is who he thought he was. It's time to get that match made, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna get to that in my suplex of the weekend. Damn right I am. Seth Rollins was thrown over the barricade by Colts legend T.Y. Hilton on Sunday. That's right, WWE superstar Seth Rollins attended the Chicago-Indianapolis game in Indianapolis. Indianapolis wide receiver T.Y. Hilton tossed him over the barricade and onto the field, which ultimately resulted in Seth Rollins being ejected from the game. So Seth did take to social media to express his displeasure with the action and display of what happened, and goes on to say he hates football, X, Y, and Z. Want to know if a little angle turns out with T.Y. Hilton and Seth freaking Rollins will be very, very intriguing. Very intriguing. Also, Derrick Henry, his diet has been revealed for during the season. As reported, he spends about $250,000 on health during the season. No fried food, no dairy, no gluten, no artificial sugar. Doesn't eat until between 4 and 5 p.m. during the season, and eats an avocado or a banana before practice. With all the working out that he's doing in between, I mean, hey man, that's a hell of a way to spend money and take care of his health, and ensures he's able to stiff arm these guys a little bit further as he's rumbling, stumbling, bumbling downfield. Very intriguing. $250,000 a season, huh? We just trying to get 100K subscribers. Hint, hint, wink, wink. All right, Reggie Bush. He filed an NIL lawsuit against the NCAA, USC, Pac-12 for name, image, and likeness being used without permission. Go ahead and get your bag, Reggie. Reggie got his Heisman back. He's trying to get everything else that came with it. I am not mad at him. Go and get it, Reg. Get your just desserts, bro. Chicago White Sox has tied the Major League Baseball loss record. I don't think anybody in the Chi seen this coming, but I think it might be time for you all to make that call to Ozzie Guillen. Get Ozzie back. Bring back Ozzie. You know Ozzie ain't having that in the clubhouse. Need a little fire under your ass. You can see what happens from there. Bring back Ozzie. I'm starting the lobby. Chicago White Sox. Hey man, it is what it is. Before it used to be the Cubs that were the bottom of the barrel, and now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, things seem to have flipped over there in the Chi. All right, WNBA playoffs is underway. The Storm and the Aces game 1. Aces came out on top 78-67. The Phoenix Mercury beat the Minnesota Lynx 102-95 in game 1. Indiana Fever lost to the Kinetic Sun 93-69 in game 1. And the Dream versus New York Liberty game 1 final 83-69. As things start shifting in the WNBA. You know, when the WNBA is finishing up, you know, starting their playoffs, you know NBA basketball's around the corner, baby. Media Day opens up this week. Boston Celtics Media Day opens up tomorrow. The defending champs will be at the podium discussing what it takes to get back to raise banner number 19 if they can. Big target on their back. A lot of chips on people's shoulder. Should be a very entertaining Media Day. We will report what came out of Media Day as well, and bring it to you next go around, definitely. All right. Seems as though Justin Herbert re-aggravated his ankle on Sunday. Was seen in a walking boot. His status for Sunday is up in the air. And they also said that Steelers running back Najee Harris was seen in the sling. Pretty intriguing. Najee had a pretty good game. Something to monitor, especially in the fantasy realm, of course, for those who do have Najee Harris like myself. And I see Miss Aja Wilson. Shout out Miss Aja Wilson, WNBA MVP, unanimously, all 67 votes. Well deserved. Well deserved. As she is a genuine force to be reckoned with. Genuine force to be reckoned with in the WNBA as she moves forward with her Las Vegas Aces in the playoffs. All right. Major League Baseball, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Now, I believe baseball, there's another week left of baseball, but it's pretty much done. It's pretty much done. So, I'm just going to go ahead and just give you guys pretty much projected first round matchups and bye week. So it looks like first round bye will go to New York Yankees and the Cleveland Guardians. Wild card, it looks like the Astros will play the Twins and the Orioles will play Kansas City Royals. It's pretty good matchups there. And in the National League, it looks like first round byes would go to the LA Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies, with the wild card games being the Milwaukee Brewers versus the New York Mets and the Padres versus the Diamondbacks. Current standings: American League, New York Yankees, Baltimore Orioles, and Tampa Bay Rays are currently leading the AL East. Yankees at 90 and 64, Baltimore at 86 and 68, Tampa Bay 77 78. Sox and Toronto are done. The Central, Guardians are 90 and 65, the Royals are 82 and 72, the Twinkies are 81 and 73. Also moving on to the AL West, Stros 84-70 is their record, followed by the Mariners 79-75, and the Rangers 73 and 81. Like I said, right now AL wildcard is going to be between the Baltimore Orioles and Kansas City Royals. I don't see that changing. NL East standings: Philadelphia Phillies 92 and 63, followed by the New York Mets 86-69. Braves are not going to be even though they're third, they're not going to be a factor in this year. Milwaukee Brewers are 88 and 66. The Cubs are 79 and 76. And then in the West, the Dodgers are 92-62. The Padres are 88-66, and the Diamondbacks are 86-68. So for the wild card, that pretty much sets up the Padres, the Diamondbacks, and the Mets, all locking it in for the wild card. So that's pretty much how things are going to shape out. We won't get the official word until next week when the playoffs gets announced and when they get cracking. And then we'll go for here as some boys of the fall back in full effect as we crown Major League Baseball champion this fall, this October, as we get into it, definitely. All right, that pretty much wraps it up for the Suplex Sports Podcast for this week. My suplex of the weekend is going to Anthony Joshua. I'm going to Anthony Joshua for the suplex this weekend. Terrible performance against Daniel Dubois. You got work, you got outclass. You got beat. You got beat bad, bro. And we've been sitting here on eggshells for the last years now, waiting for the potential matchup of Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. Both of you guys got losses. Right now is the time to do it. Let's get at it. I need a promoter to promote Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. The time is now. The time is now. Let's get it cracking. After that, I'm good. I'm good. That's all I got to say. We need Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. We've been waiting for this fight for so damn long, and I understand that both guys have been getting beat in their own respective fights outside of fighting each other. But now's the time. Now's the time to do it. So let's do it. All right. That's my suplex of the weekend. Our 120 subscribers, humbly thank you all for sharing, liking, and subscribing with the Suplex Sports Podcast. Now it's time for everybody else who tunes in to please hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button for the Suplex Sports Podcast, as we are on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, most social media platforms, and of course Spotify as well, where you get the simulcast. You can listen in your car and you can see the video of us at the same time. You got options. You got options. With that said, this is a Suplex Sports Podcast. It's your boy Mish, and we'll see you guys next week.